Hello, everyone. So we are bringing up the problem of evil. And when we discuss the problem of evil, we have to address it from numerous different perspectives. First of all, we have to realize that evil exists very clearly, very stated in the Bible as a test to human will and to human ingenuity and to the faith of the soul. So that evil exists is not the problem of evil. The problem of evil exists because God created it intentionally with a forethought and with purpose. And so we have to address it from the fact that, one, originally there was a war in heaven that divided the angels against the demons, divided God against the devil, and that God did not have an aforementioned or a knowledge aforitude to address the situation to begin with. That is the original problem of evil, that God could create something that he didn't realize was actually going to come to his detriment later on. Now, when we talk about Armageddon, or we talk about the end of days or the end of times, the problem of evil addresses itself again. How could something that God had created actually stand as a forefront to God? How could something like the devil create an army? Create something. See, this is where things get so mythological. How can we not see that this is a mythology? But yet so many people don't see it this way. So we will address it from the point of logic and reason. God put us here on earth to create this experience of life, so that we have this experience of reality. But yet, at a certain point, from the Christian perspective, there will come this end of times. There will become these second days. And there will be this fight, the fight that ends all things, Armageddon. And the armies of evil will fight against the armies of good. But yet, God created the armies of evil. Did he not? If everything came out of God, then God created the armies of evil. So yet, we are left to believe that the armies of evil will fight the armies of good, and there will be a victor. Do we not know who the victor is going to be? The problem of evil is very simple. It does have nothing to do that evil exists on earth today. It has to do with the fact that it could actually fight against God and maybe even succeed against God. That is the problem of evil, that God did not realize what it was doing when it was creating these things, this beautiful archangel known as Lucifer, and that he would somehow realize that he wanted to be greater than God. And then he became the fallen angel. That is the problem of evil. That God did not see these things to begin with. Of course God did. He could not. And the problem of evil from a Christian perspective is not realizing that these things were all known ahead of time, that the end of times would not be something that was already understood quite clearly. There is no problem of evil. God and Satan have known each other ever since Job. Read Job, and then you will know how God and Satan have collaborated. But God and Satan are two of the same kin. Okay? There is no evil other than what God has created already. And so there is no problem of evil. But Christians see Satan as this adversary. Yes, he might serve as an adversary, but he's actually serving for God the entire time if you actually understand the plan. So there is no problem to evil. And there is no Armageddon. There is no army of evil that's going to fight the army of God, because God created everything, right to begin with, if you believe things from a Christian perspective. That is what is counterintuitive. That is what causes cognitive dissonance in this entire scheme of things. So the problem of evil is actually the best fight that we have against the Christian philosophy. Because if you argue that Satan is the adversary and that Satan is going to fight against God, then you don't actually understand God. You don't actually understand the entire purpose of the mythology of the Christian perspective. So the problem of evil is simply this. God created everything. He created everything, all right? Whether we see this from a Christian, a Gnostic, whatever perspective we see this in, we understand that God created everything, right? So, and if he has the foreknowledge to know what everything is going to be eventually, then how can we even assume that there's going to be a war in heaven, or that there was a war in heaven? See, this is where mythology comes into play, but we won't get into that right now. What we're going to talk about is the end game, Armageddon, the final fight between the forces of evil and the forces of good. Like God didn't know the outcome right from the very get. Like Satan wasn't part of God's plan right from the very beginning. Again, just understand your religion from its very, very get, and you will never have the problem of understanding the problem of evil. The problem of evil is so simple to solve. It doesn't even seem like it should be a problem. But the thing is, Christians will say, Satan is the adversary. Satan is the one. He's the problem. He's the reason that we're all having this problem. No. God is the reason. God is the reason that we're having this evil. God is the reason that we're having this problem. God has formulated this entire program. If you believe the mythology, God is the one that has done it all. So there is no problem with evil. Evil serves the purpose to its end. You know? And apparently it will be to have given human beings the choice and the reason and the fortitude to come to a greater understanding of things, and hopefully choose the good over the evil. And that's the entire purpose. And that Satan actually served a purpose to God. And there is no problem to evil, because God was actually the one to create it all. And it all serves the purpose, if you believe the mythology. So I'll just leave this one with you. Darryl, Sloan. Bye.